first. But good evening, everyone, and welcome to Academic Success and Support for Students and Families. My name is Karina Ackerson Jones, and yes, I can speak. You can. Hopefully, you can hear me. And I'm Director of TRIO Student Support Services for the Armstrong and Liberty campuses of Georgia Southern University.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mallory Payne. I'm a coordinator in the Academic Success Center. So let's take a look at this photo to start off. By looking at this photo, what do you think might be going on? When we look at this photo, we see a student who's potentially overwhelmed. The student looks discouraged, you know, they look a little defeated. Maybe they haven't gotten enough rest. I see 4 cups of coffee in this photo, so there's a lot of caffeine. Maybe they're, you know, they are balancing a bunch of different things. Time management might be a concern, balancing a full course load. Maybe they have a part-time or a full-time job outside of school. Maybe they're balancing some personal responsibilities and commitments. They're navigating school during a world crisis, maybe overcoming and working through obstacles. So this is a concerning photo.
Now, we're not here to tell you tonight that being at the university is not hard. We're not even here to tell you that it won't get overwhelming. No, we're not. We're here to say to you that students must ask for help. A closed mouth will not get fed. We want to take away the stigma of asking for help. We want to normalize it with students at our campus. However, we want students to consider when to ask for help. From the beginning, students must be proactive. They've got to take action. We don't want them to be reactive. We want them to be proactive. We don't want them to wait until there's a crisis before they look for or ask for help. Because when you're in crisis, it can be very confusing, just like it is on this bulletin board in this room. It can be very confusing. It can be a confusing time, but we don't want them to be confused, nor do we want them to stay in a state of confusion. We want them to be curious. So we don't want students to be confused. We want them to be curious. We want students to know about and want to know about course content. We want them to want to know about support services or resources at our campus. We want them to want to know about academic success and what it takes to be successful. We encourage students to take ownership of their own success. We want them to expect to learn, but sometimes to learn by failing. Not failing, of course, but not getting it right the first time. We want them to learn by failing and then keep learning. That means they are moving forward. It means they're not stuck. We encourage a growth mindset at Georgia Southern University. You know, someone much smarter than me, Dr. Lee Balcom, has recorded a series of podcasts on developing a thriving growth mindset. It's not an either or position, it's a continuum. Now, here's some steps he gives to move us along this growth mindset continuum. First, he tells us to get started. Harry Truman once said, an imperfect action trumps perfect inaction. In other words, don't be stuck, move forward. Then he says, try something new. Confidence builds competence in a process loop. You'll feel uncomfortable until you feel comfortable, but we all know that we can't get stuck in the comfort zone. Most of us know that that comfort zone isn't so comfortable, it's just familiar. Then he says, be able to say, I am learning. Always be learning. You don't always have to be the smartest person in the room, but you can surround yourself with people from whom you can learn. There may be other options that you don't even know about yet. You know, there's a Zen saying, and it goes, in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In an expert's mind, there are few. Then fourth, he says, embrace struggle. Struggle defines our ability to grow. When you are comfortable, you don't reach beyond the challenge. Challenge yourself to find a place of deep meaning and purpose in what you're doing and in what you want to do. We're not meant to struggle always. So growth mindset is built like a muscle. First, you may struggle a little bit, then you rest and you rebuild. Then next, he says, refine failure as a learned lesson, a new starting place for the next step. Failure is not getting knocked down. Failure is not getting up. Then last but not least, he says, embrace life's evolution. It's not possible to know if a solution is going to work if you haven't tried it. Life is an experience in trial and error, a life evolution as we adapt to life by experimentation. Now, with these strategies, we feel that students can face struggles and challenges. And even when those struggles and challenges seem unfair and challenging, you know, some quotes about being curious is one is from Albert Einstein. He says, the mind that opens to a new idea never returns to its original size. And then another by Andrew Holm, who is an actor and a writer, he says, practice being curious. So students practice being curious, want to know things, ask questions. And this is from me, yours truly, harder makes smarter. When students believe they can get smarter, they understand that effort makes them stronger. Therefore, they put in extra time and they put in extra effort, and that leads to higher achievement. So don't be confused, be curious.
So specifically, what does being curious mean? Sometimes your students or you yourself might not know what you don't know. And so what Corinne mentioned a minute ago is ask questions. There's no such thing as a silly or a stupid question. Our belief is that the stupid questions are the ones that are not being asked. And so if you're just not even sure, you just think like, hey, I'm really struggling in this, and I don't even know who to ask or really what to ask. We want you to encourage your students to go ask for help so that someone on campus, a resource, can get them to the right person or place. Your students also might have come from situations in environments where someone was with them for a short period of time, maybe like a mentor in high school or a counselor or a parent or family member. We're your people. Our offices are your people. We're here with our students from the beginning to the end. And Corinne is going to talk with you a little later about a program that we are so excited for and proud of. And this might be the program for your student if they're looking for somebody to be with them from beginning to end. We also want to talk about growth. So growth comes through trials and triumphs. There is no victory without a fight. So there might be struggles, there might be challenges, but you're going to be victorious in the end. We want to help you get to that point, help your students get to that point. Victory also might be a different thing to a different person. So we all have our own plans, our own goals, our own career trajectories, and we want your students to stay focused on that. We want them to keep their eyes on their own prize. When we start to compare and see what our friends are doing or our neighbors are doing or people back home are doing, that's when we start to get in trouble. So we want our students to figure out what their goals and plans and prizes and stay focused and sort of like stay in their own lane to make it to that goal and not make it to somebody else's goal. Being curious also means asking questions of a specific group of people. And so we came up with a group of people who we think are key to know about when they're at Georgia Southern. So their professor, if they're struggling in a specific class, we want them to go to the source and ask the professor and not be intimidated by talking with that person about any questions or struggles that they might have. If your student lives on campus, their resident assistant or resident director would be a great resource. Their dean, this could be the dean of students or their college dean if they have an academic or a student support related issue. Their academic advisor, so maybe they're having, some questions about what their course load looks like or what their next year or their academic plan looks like. Their academic advisor would be a great resource. An upper class student, so an upperclassman, someone who's been kind of around the block for a little while, someone who's been there, done that. That's always a great resource to ask a trusted, student who's been here for a little bit longer. And then also an orientation leader. So if they are still connected with their SOAR leader, from orientation, that would be a great upperclassman, someone who's experienced and passionate about helping other students. Those would be great connections. Also taking advantage of some specific resources. So we think the Student Accessibility Resource Center, if this is a need for any of your students, this is a great resource, and the staff there really love on students and really want to get them connected with things that are going to be helpful for them, an individualized plan of resources. So SARC, or the Student Accessibility Resource Center, would be great. The Career and Professional Development Office, that is also really great resources that a lot of students don't know to take advantage of early on, and they just might be thinking career minded, like when I graduate, which they're also available for, but early on would be advantageous for them to take a look at as well. The Academic Success Center, so the office that I'm a part of, we have a number of resources that we are going to share with you about, and then also TRIO, Student Support Services. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about 2 campus departments in student support services that those 2 departments provide. So that'll be the ASC and TRIO. So the first is the Academic Success Center. The Academic Success Center provides a number of services that would benefit students looking for some academic support. So for peer mentoring, this is for students who are new to the university or maybe looking for a little bit more support in their transition. Peer mentorship might be of interest to those students. Peer mentors are upperclassmen who walk alongside new and incoming students during their first few years of university. Mentors assist students in transitioning to college life. This can look like a bunch of different things, like locating resources on campus, getting a handle on time management, which we know some students struggle with in the beginning, overcoming challenges, goal setting, getting plugged into campus life. For students who are looking for something like this, they can sign up, request a mentor on our website. On the other hand, peer tutoring, this might be for a student who's looking for course-specific assistance. And this is something that your student's going to want to check out. If your student is mentioning a challenge in their coursework, they can either drop into a tutoring center or schedule a one-on-one appointment if they want that personalized one-on-one attention. And we offer a variety of subjects, including general math, science, and humanities courses that many first and second year students take at Georgia Southern. So this is like college algebra, trigonometry, biology, chemistry, English, composition, those sorts of things that first and second year students are commonly exposed to. The workshop series. So for students who are seeking topic related content on a specific academic skill, we offer a workshop series throughout the academic year. In this workshop series, students receive information about test taking, goal setting, reading comprehension, note taking, time management. There's a variety of topics. So this would be really great for students to take advantage of if they're looking for information on a specific topic that they might be struggling with or wanting to know more about. Academic skills consultations are for students who may need or want to go a little bit deeper into those similar topics. So students will meet one-on-one with a professional staff member, an educational specialist, to discuss an academic skill that they want to refine or discuss a specific academic challenge they're experiencing. And students will leave these consultations more confident with additional tools, tips, and resources that they can implement right then and there. Success coaching is a great opportunity for any student who wants to receive regular and ongoing support. They can discuss and develop academic goals, establish accountability, and further connect with academic resources. So something that's different is the consultations are more often like 1 or 2 time occurrences, whereas success coaching would be an ongoing relationship and person that would check in with them. Testing services provides a secure testing environment for students and members of the community to take required proctor exams, credit by exams, certification exams, and program-based exams to meet students' personal and professional development. Some of these have a cost and some might not. And so some popular exams that we offer include CLEP exams, there's eCore proctor exams if your student is taking an eCore, an online course through USG, the GACE for education majors, the HESI for nursing entrance. So we offer a variety of these tests, these services on our campus. And so more information about that is offered on our website. And I put that here as well, our website, georgiasouthern.edu/success, and then our phone number for those of you who just want to talk to a person. You are also welcome to give us a call.
All right, speaking of surrounding yourself with the right types of people, as you can see, the Academic Success Center is an awesome resource for your students. And just think about it, all of those sources are free. Now to talk to you about another resource that is offered specifically to a cohort of about 140 students who may be low income, first generation, or students with disabilities. And that resource is TRIO Student Support Services. We may not have shared the sound at the beginning.
What was that? It's not sharing?
The sound we can't hear. We may not have shared it.
No, I'm so sorry. Okay, okay, let's try that again. I'm so sorry.
Look at you. You're a college student and you want to be successful in reaching your goal of receiving a bachelor's degree. The path to getting that degree can be hard, juggling work hours combined with meeting deadlines for all of your classes, maintaining a GPA to keep a scholarship or get into your program, then trying to figure out how to pay for it all. TRIO Student Support Services, or SSS, at Georgia Southern University's Armstrong and Liberty campus is here to help you. TRIO SSS is a federally funded program through the U.S. Department of Education. When you join TRIO, your TRIO advisor partners with you to help you develop an individual academic success plan and works with you to keep you on track for completing your degree. We offer tutoring in math and science, peer and academic coaching to help you succeed in your classes, and workshops to help you build or regain skills to be successful in and outside the classroom. We also encourage you to look ahead to graduate school by offering graduate school tours, and we help you complete graduate school admission paperwork. TRIO SSS also provides financial literacy development, help with finding scholarships, navigating the FAFSA, and financial assistance in the form of grant aid. All of this and more is designed to help you along your journey to completing your degree. Through the TRIO SSS program, you will make connections and stay engaged on campus and in the community. The greatest thing about TRIO is everything we offer is completely free. So if you are first generation, low income, or a student with a disability and your home campus is Armstrong or Liberty, don't hesitate or procrastinate. Apply now. Learn more about TRIO SSS by visiting our website at president.georgiasouthern.edu/SSS or give us a call at 912-344-3023. Look at you.
Look at you. Well, that concludes our presentation. We want to thank you all for your time and your attention, and just know that we are here to help your students achieve their academic goals. I do believe we did have a question in the chat. I don't know if you saw it, Mallory. So at this time, Brandon, we'll take it back to you.
Yeah, so we will be fielding some questions at this point. So if you do have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat or to drop those in our Q&A feature. Both are located at the bottom of your screen in that toolbar. So click on either one and submit either way. But we did have one question. So what are CLEP exams?
Mallory, did you want to answer that?
You are still muted, Mallory. All right, so it looks like Mallory's freezing and it's not letting her unmute right now, of course. So we will see if we can get her to unmute. Just tried pushing it through on my end.
I can talk about CLEP if you want me to, Brandon. Okay, let's say a student is proficient in a certain subject matter, and they feel that they can test out of that class. Well, we offer CLEP exams at the university to give a student an opportunity to test out of a course. Different courses have different rules. And so you would, if you're interested in CLEPing out of, for instance, a foreign language, you may have to finish another foreign language in order to get the credit for the foreign languages that are below the one you CLEPed out of. So, but that is what a CLEP exam is, an opportunity for a student to test out of a course. But you have to look at the fine print and know the different rules for the different courses. Is that sufficient? Is that okay, Brent?
Hopefully. If not, Greg, let us know. All right, I think Mallory is going to potentially be trying to restart her computer because it looks like she's freezing on our end now too. So we'll carry on, and then she will hopefully rejoin us here in another minute or so. All right, so our next question, we have someone who's saying that their students saying that they don't need any books, which is concerning them, not even ebooks. And then they think it might be because their password or potentially the bookstore doesn't work. Any insight that we might have for Michelle?
Well, if I were your student, I would check with the professor specifically. All professors have email addresses in which they can be reached, and they also have office hours, whether that's virtual or in person. So first I would check with the professor. Also, your student should have a syllabus for that class, and that syllabus should tell them whether or not they have a book for the class, and it should tell them specifically what that book would be. So there shouldn't be any guessing about what they need for the class, or whether or not they can speak with the professor about what their needs are. If they have concerns, they can also go over to the bookstore. Our bookstores are open. They can go in, the bookstore has a list of classes, a list of books for all classes. So they can also check with the bookstore. If they're having trouble with a password, we have IT on campus, and they can go through their My Georgia Southern account and put in an IT ticket. And on our campus, on the Armstrong Liberty campus, students can walk up to, go over to the student union, and there's a desk where they can speak to someone about their account. So either way, a student can get help with that.
So the syllabus is a great place to go. And then of course, talking to your professors, a lot of great resources though.
Absolutely.
All right, it looks like Mallory dropped the link for more information about the CLEP exams. Welcome back. All right, so we have someone saying that their daughter signed up for peer mentoring and they had their first peer mentoring session today, and that she loved it and that they're so excited about the program.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh, thank you for sharing that. That makes like my heart so happy. I'm so glad.
Yeah, I was gonna say definitely save that one until you got back. So, you know, these programs are great. Highly encourage you to look into them, or encourage your student rather to look into them, because we do have a lot of great resources and programs on campus. Even if this isn't the specific peer mentoring program that your student's interested in, a lot of other ones are on campus that might be a better fit for them potentially. So highly encourage you to look into those. All right, any other questions that we can ask of our presenters and try and help give you some insider information, provide any clarity that you might need, answer any questions that maybe your students are having and relaying on to you. We're kind of here for whatever you need. All
Yes,
right, another
Rhonda, all of these are free.
Yeah.
Tutoring, consultations, mentoring. Yes, yay, big yay.
And
Well,
also
I can't say free. You kind of already paid for it, right? Like you're, yeah. So, yeah.
Well, considering the quality and the amount is pretty much free. It's a great discount, okay, on those kinds of services. But I'd also like to say with TRIO Student Support Services, it is an application process. A student has to be a part of the program in order to take advantages of what we offer to the students. So there is an application involved with our program. It's unlike the Academic Success Center, which is for all students. on the campuses. You're welcome. Ms.
Glad that you
Branch.
found it informative. Yeah, a lot of great resources. Of course, we mentioned a bunch today, but so many other resources on campus for just about anything that your student could need. So always encourage you to look for those things that are free or included, whatever way you want to look at it. A lot of great things here on campus.
Absolutely.
Any other questions that we can help with? There are no more questions, then you are free to go. We'll kind of hang back for another few minutes just to see if there are any final questions that come in. Maybe someone's typing one out. But if you are good to go, if all your questions are answered, then you are free to go. We thank you for joining us this evening and hope that you will consider joining us for some of our future family Zooms on a variety of topics. We'll be doing them monthly throughout the academic year. So more information on those to come. A sneak preview, our next one will be on academic advising. So for those of you still in the room, you can look forward to that one coming up in about a month or so.
Right. All right. So it's nice to meet everybody. Have a good night.
Ooh, this is a good question.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Rhonda says, yeah, this is a really good question about asking for help and or coming to tutoring. Yeah, I think something that we've tried to do in our center is to destigmatize asking for help. We try to normalize it, and when students come into our tutoring center, they're peer tutors. They're not like people who have a huge age difference. And so I think that's one thing that kind of like makes it feel a little less
Intimidating.
Yes, that's good. I was going to say like embarrassing, intimidating. Yes, all those words. And so I think that's one thing we've really tried to do that on our end. I think what your students might find when they come to tutoring, either in our center or in other centers, is that they're not the only one. There are other students there. They're not the only student walking into a room full of tutors. Like there are other students there getting help. We often find that, a student will come like once or twice, and then they'll be regular like visitors of us because they realize how helpful it is, or, they might come and just do homework in the space. That way, if they have a question, there's somebody who's there to answer right away. They don't have to like pick up their things and move to a different space. And so that's really beneficial. And we find that the ones who do come a few times come throughout their college career. I think with math, we see a lot, at least on my end, a lot of like hesitation with asking for help, because there already is a lot of like negative self-talk around math. People just got one problem wrong and they're bad at math for the rest of their life. And so around that, we really tried to encourage a growth mindset, and you're not great at it right now because it's your first week of classes. Like, this is the whole point of the class, to learn and get better and ask for help. And so I think I would encourage your daughter just to check it out one time, like maybe do a walk-in visit or a drop-in visit. And she doesn't even have to get tutoring that day. She can just say, I'm interested in just checking out what this is. Can you talk to me about how to schedule an appointment? Or can you talk to me about who helps with math, and just kind of like orient herself, if that is helpful for kind of like a first visit, so that if she does come back for help again, she knows what she's walking into or what she should bring with her, or, maybe even meet the tutors that she might be getting help from. I think those are some things that maybe could help, but the student does have to have initiative and like go to tutoring. With that said, we do also offer virtual and in person. So if a student is distance learning or on, the Liberty campus, or work, home one week or something like that, they can still get tutoring from wherever they are, essentially in their pajamas if they really want, in their sweatpants. but they do have, you're right, they do have to be brave enough to come and ask for help. But if they do, I mean, we have a lot of happy customers, and I don't think, you know, in our center or other centers that I think it would be a good experience for her to check it out.
I'd also like to say that sometimes students don't think about the fact that being at the university is asking for help. They're asking for help to get to where they want to go as far as a career is concerned. So don't look at going to tutoring any different. It's a part of the process. Tutoring would not exist if it were not needed. And so it's expected that folks are going to come and utilize the resource. So if they see it as more as a resource than it is saying that that they are less than, or they don't know any, you know, they don't know as much as other folks, just see it as a resource. It's an opportunity. And if they come at the beginning and utilize the service, then they can maybe see that the problems that they're having at the beginning has nothing to do with their ability to learn the work. It's that maybe a study problem, or it's about study skills, or it's about college math, not about high school math. There's a great transition between high school and college, and they need to understand that from every step of the way. Before they came to college, there was a little bit harder, it was a little bit hard, and they had to do something a little bit different. So this is just doing it a little bit differently. Does not mean it's going to be forever. They'll always have to go to tutoring, because sometimes with students, once they get that this is not high school math, there's a different way that I have to study in order to retain this information, then they got it like that. And that may be the last time they're they're using the tutoring center. But they need to look at it as this is just a part of the process. This whole thing I'm doing with university is getting help to get to where I want to be.
Yeah, that's great.
Any other lingering questions before we sign off for the evening?
Well, I can add that if there's any questions about TRIO later, if you guys contact admissions, I'm sure Brandon will put me in touch with you. And I'm happy to answer any questions specifically you have about the program, or how your son or daughter can be involved, with TRIO. But it was my pleasure to meet every one of you virtually and offer, my 2 cents about success and support. But Georgia Southern is a great place to be, and we're glad you're with us. So any further questions, please feel free to contact me.
Yeah, and if you think of questions later, definitely feel free to reach out to their respective offices, or you can always email us at familyprograms@georgiasouthern.edu. We'd be happy to forward your message along to connect you with the right person, make sure you're in good hands, so that way you can rest assured you can help your student, whatever you need in that situation, more than happy to help. But with that, if there are no more questions, we will go ahead and wrap up this Zoom and close out in the next minute or so. So if you are good to go, feel free to go ahead and sign off. But if you do have any lingering questions, definitely go ahead and type those in quickly, so that way we know not to log off and close this Zoom. All right, well, I think that we're going to go ahead and call it. I don't see anything else in the chat or the Q&A. So thank you all for joining us tonight. A huge thank you to our presenters for a great presentation and for helping give some insightful responses to our questions that were asked earlier. I want to thank everyone again, and have a great night.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.